Next time would have been Royal Agenda, then It's a Giggle. From My Little Lucy, further back is Spina, Take Manhattan, Lunar Flight, and Newtown Beach pulling up at the rear.
Oh, gee, she's smart. She can just, well, he got a trail on her the other day. Caulfield, he let her lead, and today he's let her lead again. And, gee, she's a smart filly, carrying that weight, 57.5 and ran 109.1.
137, Dandelion, Jim Cassidy. Jim's fifth win for the carnival, except Darren Gauci second. I thought she battled on well. And 7, Scandinavia, Stephen King, 1, 3 and 7.
And it was very interesting, Dan. You can notice here, none of them went to the, I know they're starting on the outside rail, but Jimmy purposely just stayed a little bit away. So I heard Roy Higgins say that the outside, there's been a lot of racing on it, must be just getting cut up. But you can see here, Jimmy just asked for an effort here, and I noticed him look across when he was getting to the line. But by gee, it's hard to line up even when you're a jockey. A couple of times I've won races on the inside and looked across and thought, gee, have I won it or not? But you can see here, she's run quite well. Jimmy just has that peep across. Except was a very good run.
She battled on very well.
There's a good close-up shot. Jimmy hard at work. He's a great rider. As I said before, if you see Jimmy Cassidy and Mick Tippin in a jockey's room, and the size of them, they're the perfect shape for a jockey, and they're both very strong. Both got great hands on horses. Here he is having a peep.
Well, another win for Paul Perry. It's been a great carnival for Jim and for Paul. He's just about the leading trainer for the carnival, Peter Donegan.
Yeah, and he can't wipe the smile off his face, and well might he. Congratulations, Paul. She just keeps on getting better.
Yeah, Peter, she's, done so well since Saturday. That's why we decided to run her, and, also the outside was where the inside where she was a bit worse, and it might have been too, but she's probably just a little bit too good.
Yeah, when you saw the barrier you were probably happy, but the way the track raced a little bit earlier, you might have been on the wrong side of the track.
Yeah, well, that's it. They could all tell you that early. You sort of come here shrugging your shoulders a bit, but still she's probably just a little bit better than him. Yeah.
It hasn't been a bad carnival for a fella called P. Perry or a fella called Jay Cassidy. It's been quite reasonable.
Mate, we really enjoyed it, yeah. Shame it's over.
Keep enjoying it, Paul.
Thanks very much.
Paul Perry, the winning trainer, and here is the Melbourne Cup winning jockey, Jim Cassidy, with John Letts.
Yeah, Jimmy Dandelion, very impressive win today, wasn't it?
Very gutsy and very smart filly, this mate.
You're about a furlong and a half out. You told me you had to look across. You were about a length and a half in front. You just give her a click up and away she went.
Yeah, I tried to nurse her to the line the last little bit. I had a look across and I had him covered then, mate. Great effort with 57.5.
Yeah, it looked a very easy win. Jimmy, we better go in, I think. Well, thanks, Jimmy, and good luck later in the day.
Thanks, Johnny.
We're having a bit of problems down here with the horse.
Johnny Letts out there with Jim Cassidy aboard Dantelar. And that was a fine effort by that filly coming down the outside of the track. She's recorded 109.1. Placings are 1, 3 and 7. Dantelar first, except second. Third placing to Scandinavia. As Jimmy Cassidy returns to scale, we'll take a break and be back at Flemington shortly. You're watching Network 10's live and exclusive coverage of the 1997 Melbourne Cup Carnival.
Welcome back. No doubt about it, it's a special atmosphere during this week, but today, for some reason, it just seems to be a little more special than some of the previous Oaks days, and a lot of people here. And we're after correct weight from Mr. Gleeson. Actually, no, with the 2 late scratchings, he won't just yet.
Horses may go.
That's probably not correct weight just yet. No. But everyone's having a good time. Waving of the champagne bottles. And Peter Donegan's down amongst that happy throng, and Pete, it's a beautiful day, and everyone really seems to be having an even better time than normal, and we've got a few complications with that last race, so little wait.
Yeah, just with the late scratchings, they're just trying to work out the deductions there, Tim, for Cairns Love and also Amber Gaze, which came out late. But the signal the horses may go is an indication that correct weight has been declared for the runners coming back, and then they'll just work out the deductions and make it official. So I'm not sure that we can quite bring you the official dividends as yet on race 6, where the numbers were 1, 3 and 7. Another winner there for Jimmy Cassidy, another winner for Paul Perry. in Dantalar, and I think that was a pretty good effort, Jen, coming down the outside. There might have been a bit of a doubt as to whether the inside was quicker. I think it was, looking at what Rose's Joy did earlier. So to come down that side of the track and win so convincingly is a very good effort.
Oh, look, she's very, very good. And what about Paul Perry and Jim Cassidy? You can't stop them over this carnival, can you?
No, you can't. Now the 7th, the Sutcliffe Stakes, Exponential number 5, 14 Vedray, 15 Desert Light and 19 Ravi come out. As we look through the tote figures, what did you make of it?
Well, right down the bottom, or near the bottom anyway, number 16, The Hind, trained by Peter Hayes, to be ridden by Danny Nikolic.
Hasn't he had a boom on him?
Yeah, oh, well, yes, and of course he was one of the emergencies for the Derby on Saturday. This horse has only had the 4 starts. Really, really did catch the eye at his last start, the Norman Robinson. That was over 2,000. He looks talented. I think he's going to be very hard to beat. Number 9, Marine Spirit. Well, she's the horse that ran second behind Kensington Palace in the Wakeful Stakes. So on that performance, she does look a top chance in this race. And number 3, Moretti. I've put her in for third.
Well, I've gone for the Hind as well, and there it is coming up at $3.60 on the tote. But I thought that one had a bit of a chance. Wasn't the worst run I've seen here on Saturday. Blue Blood, number 1, sort of ran home pretty well behind her, did it?
Yes, it wasn't a bad effort there, and drawn in barrier 2 as well, so that could help.
OK, now correct weight is there. Weight is right. The deductions are just being announced, but they are for on-course. So if you're back Dantalar, you can line up and collect $1.90 for the win and $1.20 for the place. $5.70 for Accept and $2.40 for Scandinavia. Trifecta paid $202.70. Quinella $23.50, and the race-to-race double was a skinny one, but it was pretty easy. $3.70. 1, 3 and 7. Correct weight is there. Margins were 2 lengths by length. The time 19.1. And we are just about ready for the presentation. Greg Miles, the course broadcaster, just continuing to make the betting deduction announcement after the running of race number 6 on the card. And once he is clear of that announcement, our Master of Ceremonies, Rob Gaylard, will be able to handle the presentation. Let's go to Rob right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Cadbury Roses Stakes presentation time, representing the VRC, Mr. J.A. Fitting. But to make our presentations for this great race, I introduce to you Mr. Kevin A. Hayes, the Chairman and Managing Director of Cadbury Confectionery.
Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, Cadbury Roses has always enjoyed a well-established connection with the VRC and the Flemington Roses for over 7 years now. This listed race has always attracted a quality field of sprinting 3-year-old fillies, resulting in wide choice and usually excellent value, of course. Such a quality race means that the Cadbury Roses Stakes is always a difficult race to win, and I really believe that this year was no exception, making the performance of Dantalar all the more worthy. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Cadbury, I'm very happy to congratulate the winning connections and the owners, S and Mrs. D.L. Marshall, Paul and Mrs. C.A. Perry, T.W., Mrs. D, J.W. and Miss H.A. Wallace. The trainer, of course, Paul Perry, who turned the filly out in such wonderful order. And, of course, Jim Cassidy for a beautiful judged ride once again. With those congratulations, of course, goes the Cadbury Roses Trophy to be accepted by... Well done. Congratulations.
Oh, it's easy to get confused on Oaks Day during Melbourne Cup week. And I tell you what, when you saw that shot from above, and there she is, you realise just how well Dantalar won that race. We've seen some pretty handy fillies going around here today. She's one of them. And, of course, Kensington Palace, the winner of the Oaks, was the other one. But she's the winner of the Cadbury Roses Stakes, Dantalar. And a big future predicted for her, too. Well, now, let's go and find Lynn Talbot as she takes us through this little section of Fashions on the Field.
On Oaks Day, the ladies go to a great effort to look fantastic, to turn heads. It's all about style and elegance and the perfect marriage between millinery and fashion design. Let's take a look at the very best of them in Fashions on the Field.
sun goes down, the lights of Melbourne come up. The nightlife is just fantastic, particularly during this week, Melbourne Cup week, of any year. But it seems to have been a little bit more special this year for some reason. A lot of happy people out and about every night. And there it is, the great city of Melbourne in Victoria and its nightlife. Well, now, while we have a little break in racing proceedings, this is a very interesting story. We've all had it drummed into our heads how much nutrition plays a part in our diets and how to keep us fitter and living happier. Well, it's actually the case that the fitter a racehorse becomes, the less it eats. So what you feed a thoroughbred becomes very important.
Humans know that for peak performance you need good nutrition, and in the world of elite athletics there's talk of carbohydrate loading, supplementation. There's quite a science behind it, but as we discovered, there's also a strong link between nutrition and the performance of a horse. Most trainers believe that diet plays an important role in helping them get past the winning post first. At Delamere Stud, David Noonan has a stable, secret recipe to get the best out of his runners.
Most important, like if you don't feed your horse properly, I don't think you've got a good racehorse.
1976 Melbourne Cup winning jockey turned trainer Bob Skelton believes what you feed a racehorse is crucial.
Very much so. You know, the feed to the horse is very important. It's much the same as ourselves. Horses are individuals, they're all different.
There are a lot of elements which can influence horse performance. The jockey, the trainer, lady luck on the day, and the horse's condition, which is closely linked to diet. Horse nutritionalist Peter Huntington is an expert in this ever-evolving science.
In the last 10 or 15 years has been a rapid increase in the knowledge we have of what horses need for certain nutrients for top performance, and therefore what you're going to put into the feed. Certainly horses that are running in the Melbourne Cup are doing a lot of work, so they burn up a lot of energy doing that work, and you've got to replace that energy to keep them in top shape. You're going to be feeding them a mix of grains. Either people mix the feeds themselves or they buy a prepared feed out of the bag.
Horse feed supplier Highgain provides scientifically formulated rations that can make the difference. Computer analysis is carried out to ascertain just what nutrients each horse requires.
10 years ago, people wouldn't have thought of adding the amount of fat that they do to feeds now, and we put fat in, and as humans we think fat's bad because it gives us heart disease. Well, horses don't get heart disease.
How many calories would the average horse in work eat a day?
I'm not sure actually, but I would imagine it would be a lot.
A racehorse that weighs about 450 kilograms is going to need something like 15 million calories when it's standing in the paddock doing nothing, and when it's actually working, about 30 million calories.
And do the horses receive a treat for a win?
Well, perhaps if they're lucky they might get a beer. I know there are some trainers that feed them beer.
Oh, and why not? I tell you what, a hungry horse too will knock you out of the way to get to that feed bin, and they really perk up. The coat shines, they look great. There's a shot from probably the most popular place to be taking camera shots from around Australia at the moment, our Whitman's Lightship, of course, and it does a beautiful job of getting those great shots from above the track of the horses and anything else we need them to get. And there it is. Probably a perfect day for them too, because it's almost windless now with that cloud coming in and the thunderstorm predicted, we hope, about 10 o'clock tonight. We'll take a break. Here's this lady I interviewed on Cup Day. Can she sing? The thrill of the race, Catherine Lambert.
When the race is won, both horse and rider can hardly wait. They hear the bell and open the gate. Just then, the two become one. They power through the gate. The race has begun. Here we go.
All the glamour and excitement of a race day at Flemington. Look at that. Send them away. And of course we saw that precarious situation, and doesn't it look frightening too on television, with the horse backing out of its barrier and being thrown around, and it really looks very dangerous. Darren Beedman too, landing on his shoulder, and there he is there now. And as I said to you, it looks very, very dangerous indeed, and it is, of course. But those fellas behind the barrier know exactly what they're doing. And there's D. Beedman, Peter Donegan. I don't know if you've got an update on how he is.
Yes, I have, Tim. He's got a bruised left shoulder, and he won't ride for the remainder of the day, which means that he's replaced here on strike force number 6 by Damien Oliver, coincidentally the rider who also had to forfeit his mount because of that trouble in the stalls there.
Yes.
And Darren also won't be riding in the last gen past master, but we haven't got a replacement yet. But I suppose it could have been a lot worse, couldn't it?
Oh, could have been for sure. And you can see, as Tim was saying, it is very dangerous when they're mucking around in those barrier stalls. You can really get badly hurt.
Not only for the jockeys, but for the barrier attendants, as Gary Willett said, those guys do a fantastic job. They don't get paid a lot of money, and it is an extremely dangerous and hazardous profession. And there we can see Darren Beedman as he made his way towards the ambulance.
It's also very ludicrous too.
In fact, where is he? He's over on the inside of the track now. He's over by the tote board. Now, what's happened here? The Melbourne Cup winning jockey's got lost. He's going the Sydney way.
He's got to walk back too.
Yeah, well, there he is surveying the scene that he looked at when he won on Saintly, right in front of the tote board there. Isn't that an amazing picture? One of the greatest jockeys in the country, and he's having to hitch a ride back. Well, it's good to see that Darren's not too badly hurt, and there is Damien Oliver in the colours of Jim Mason, who'll take the ride on strike force here in race 7, the Sutcliffe Stakes, and I've got a feeling something's going to happen here. Oh no, they were just counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, so that normally means the crowd's getting rowdy and they're going to do something to us, Jim, but we escaped that time.
Yes, we did. We've had worse, that's for sure.
Let's have a look at these horses. They're coming into the mounting yard now. Most of them are here. Blue Blood number 1 is one we mentioned before. Gavin Eads is the rider for Stuart Gower and ran 5th behind Antiquity. Was only beaten just a little over a length. And gee, I like the way this horse was working home on Saturday, Jim.
Yes, he got back on that occasion and ran on strongly. I thought it was a good effort. Nicely drawn in barrier 2 here. And if he gets some luck, he's likely to get back in this race. If he gets some luck, I do think he'll be coming home fairly strongly. So he's there with a chance.
Jimmy Cassidy could win on a rocking horse at the moment, and he's aboard number 3, Moretti, for Graham Begg.
Yes, he got too far back and ran on at Caulfield last start. That wasn't a bad effort, and I thought the start before at Randwick was a solid effort as well. The step up to 1,800 metres really should suit him, so it wouldn't surprise me if he ran a bit of a race at very good odds.
What did you make of Tricove's effort, number 4? Shane Dyes, the rider, Bill Mitchell, the trainer, finished in the middle of the field behind Antiquity here the other day.
Yes, on that occasion Tricove was a bit slow out, and I thought ran on quite okay. And if you go on the Caulfield run, I think you have to forgive him for that effort there. He set quite a task on that occasion, so not the worst in this race.
Okay, we're just getting the replacement rider for Past Master in the last, and we'll get that for you in just a moment. Here's Strike Force with Damien Oliver replacing Darren Beedman, as we've said. So it's D. Oliver, the rider for Strike Force. He plodded on all right the other day. He had a pretty good run in the race, Jen, but I just was worried the fact that he's going up 200 metres in distance here.
That doesn't worry me too much with this horse. I thought the class of race is pretty similar to what he tackled on Saturday. He was only beaten a length by Antiquity there, and it wasn't a bad effort. I've left him there with some chance in the race.
Let's go over to number 9, Marine Spirit, Larry Cassidy. Well, I was quite surprised that they didn't go for the Oaks with this filly after the way she went the other day behind Kensington Palace. I thought she would have been hard to beat, and given that assumption, she's going to be hard to beat here.
Yes, well, she's a filly taking on the boys here, but on that form, you've definitely got to respect it. It was a terrific run behind Kensington Palace. That form has proven very, very good, and she must be rated a strong chance in this race.
Number 10, Racy Dancer, Brian York, drawn gate number 11. Ross McDonald, nice to see Ross get a winner if this filly was to salute.
Yes, that's for sure.
Colt, I should say.
Well, every chance at Caulfield, Racy Dancer, and no match for the winner on that occasion behind Mighty Impulse. A nice effort at Cranbourne, the start before that, and not hopeless, Pete.
Our Savant, number 12, Samuel Hyland, the rider for Kevin Harrison.
This horse led in the Vase and pulled quite a bit on that occasion. Back to the 1,800 metres here, that should suit, and another horse that probably at a bit of value there is Not Hopeless.
Number 16, here's the horse that all the raps have been on, the Hind. Danny Nikolic is the rider for Peter Hayes. Now, they were even thinking that this horse might have a bit of a chance in the Derby the other day. He was an emergency. As it turns out, they would have scratched him even if he had have got a run. They've saved him for this, and he's the favourite.
He's a very impressive young horse, this fellow. He does tend to get back a little bit, but he runs on extremely hard. And you can see there is a nice big type of horse. I think this will suit him this race, and he's going to be very hard to beat.
And an interesting runner, number 17, Star Legs, the first emergency getting a run. He's a handsome individual, and he's trained by Leon Corstens, ridden by Greg Childs over from New Zealand.
That's right, an interesting runner in the race. Definitely one to keep an eye on the betting here. This horse has yet to see a dry track on its performances over in New Zealand, but I would certainly keep an eye on the betting. If there's any move for him, he might be there with some chance.
Selections, Jennifer?
Well, I'm going with number 16, the Hind. I think he can win this race from number 9, Marine Spirit, and number 3, Moretti.
And the Hind for me as well. Now, they did actually put this race back. It's back to 10 minutes past 4, so Dan, we're about 6 minutes away from starting time.
Right, Pete, and the favourite is the Hind, but it's on the second page. Blue Blood, $10. $6.80 for number 6, Strike Force. Marine Spirit, the filly, at $5 even. Got very good form line through Kensington Palace. Bigger odds underneath her initially. The favourite is the Hind, number 16. And it's at $2.80. It opened up very short. Although there's been a good tip around for Tim Gossage, it opened up very, very short in the ring.
Has got the wobbles too, Dan. The Hind, it is the pronounced favourite in the betting ring. The best back runner down here is Blue Blood. Got out to double figures. It's $10 on the tote, 3 points shorter in the ring. But at this stage, the Hind is a clear-cut favourite. A bit of money too for Marine Spirit. But the best back runner is the top weight, Blue Blood.
And they'll start the Sutcliffe Stakes over by the river, 1,800 metres. A somewhat unusual distance, as I said, on Cup Day, and they'll get around about 400 metres before they start making that long sweeping turn to the top of the straight. Selections from the panel here for race 7. I've gone for the Hind, so has Jennifer, and so has Letzi, and for Richard Friedman it's Strike Force number 6. On their way to the gates, as I said, this race put back to 10 past 4. We'll be back to get the thoughts of Roy Higgins on race 7 after this break on Network 10's coverage of the 97 Melbourne Cup Carnival. Some amazing sights here at Flemington on Oaks Day, as there is every year with the third day of the carnival. Ladies' Day, the sun was shining early. Now the sun has gone in. It's time to get the shoes off and relax those feet, because they've done a big job today, and maybe have a drop of the bubbly while the shoes come off too. And it's a good place to be out on the lawn. It's also a good place to be in the mounting yard, and that's where we find Roy Higgins.
I know how she feels, Pete, I can tell you. I've gone with the 3-year-old filly here in Marine Spirit. I was quite taken by her run when she ran second to Kensington Palace here last Saturday. She has trained on. She's on the up. I marked her on top of the favourite, the 16, the Hind. He's an improving horse. Of the others, the top weight Blue Bud and 6 Strike Force, 2 that are racing well, and they both look well. I went 9, 16, 1 and 6 for the last.
Thanks to Roy Higgins. It's the second last. It's the last for you. Okay, good on you, Roy. Let's go down to Tim Gossage in the betting ring. Tim, bit of a move for the toppy here.
Yes, certainly is. It's shortened a couple more points, Blue Blood, Peter, but there's also a very late go for Strike Force, paying $7 on the tote, much shorter in the ring. 2 good goes, Blue Blood and Strike Force.
Okay, so numbers 1 and 6, the ones they're back, and the Hind certainly in contention here as they go into the gates. And with the gates being filled, here's Gary Willits up in the commentary box with Dan Malicki.
Well, the Hind certainly looked very good to me going down. I thought he looked really top chance. They must have thought a lot of him to put him in the Derby, and I think he'll get his chance today. The other one I like to look at was Marine Spirit. It was a very good run behind Kensington Palace. And number 1, Blue Blood, should go well, and also Strike Force. But, gee, I'll settle on the Hind. I thought he looked very, very good, and the Flemington straight will suit him. He'll get back early, but he'll be storming home.
Yeah, only the 2 to come up, Gurok and Moretti. Moretti is set, Gurok about to join them. It's Gurok there on screen.
He's put in a couple of fair runs at times, Dan, and then every time you think he's going to go on with it, he just seems to find a way to get beaten. But he's a couple of runs here, 2 starts back, he ran home very well here.
And Gurok is ready, and they're all set for a start. Light flashing, and they're racing. A little slow to begin would have been Young Patrick. The Hind is out the back early. Likewise, Blue Blood. Richland jumped pretty well. So did Kowloon. Vocalist forward. Gurok likewise. Racy Dancer 3 out. And then Strike Force, who's 6th as they get around that first turn. Midfield on the fence there. Blue Blood. Our Savard 3 wide going forward. Then Star Legs, who's about midfield. The Hind on its inside. They were followed by Marine Spirit, Tri-Cove over on the rails from Astro Girl, one off the fence. Young Patrick second last. And Moretti was at the tail of the field. About 1,200 to go. Our Savant works to the lead now from Kowloon. Vocalist is third and Racy Dancer's fourth. Then came Gurok, and back on the rails, Rich Land. 2 lengths away, Strike Force. 1.5 to Blue Blood on the rails. 1/2 to Star Legs, and they were followed by Tri-Cove getting up along the inside. Star Legs is now 3 deep. They were followed by the Hind. Astro Girl, Marine Spirits 3 deep. 2 lengths to Moretti on the outside of Young Patrick. Running up towards the 800 metres now. And our Savant's in front, leads a length and a half to Vocalist. Kowloon third, Racy Dancer 3 wide but fourth. And then Gurok a length and a half to Strike Force, and Richland on its inside. Blue Blood starting to get into the clear. The Hind is hard ridden. It's back third last coming around the turn with only Moretti and Young Patrick behind it. They've got 5.50 left to go. Our Savant rolled away into the straight. It leads 3 lengths to Vocalist and Racy Dancer. Strike Force into the clear, then Gurok. Further out was Blue Blood, Richland, and behind those runners was Star Legs. Down to the 300, it's Our Savant about 3 lengths in front of getting out Tri-Cove. Strike Force, Blue Blood runs on, and then Gurok. Our Savant the leader, Blue Blood's after it with Tri-Cove. Our Savant falls in a hole. Tri-Cove hit the lead with 100 to go though. Tri-Cove drew clear from Blue Blood, Our Savant and Strike Force, and Tri-Cove is drawing away to win it comfortably. Tri-Cove the winner. Second placing goes to Blue Blood, third Our Savant, and then Strike Force and Richland. Gurok next in. From the Hind, it never got it warm. Marine Spirit travelled wide throughout from Star Legs, and then came Astro Girl. Further back to Vocalist. Moretti was never in it from Kowloon, Racy Dancer and Young Patrick.
Well, very big win to Tri-Cove. He was back, worked into the race at the right time, and the leaders, they were going far too fast, and they just collapsed at the 200 metres, and Tri-Cove scored a very big win here.
It was a pretty ride. It drew second from the outside. You wouldn't have known it because Shane Dye took all the shortcuts in the world.
Yes, and you know, he's a very big rangy horse, and nice 3-year-old. Here he's starting to lengthen stride. The leaders have, you know, just gone a bit too hard, but he's gone right away from him here. The Hind looks like he needs 2 miles. That's him right on the outside. He's gone out of the picture now. But he's Tri-Cove's just been far too good. Run by 2 or 3 lengths. And there's not much can be said for the rest of them, Dan. They were a bit disappointing, most of the fancied runners.
A couple of them were caught 3 wide. Marine Spirit was one of them, but I think the ride won it for Tri-Cove. Blue Blood went on well, but the winner was just too good when it got the shortcut through.
I was really worried about the Hind. I saw him at the half mile. He was under a hard riding end, but he has battled on, but no, the winner was just far too good.
4, 1 and 12. Bill Mitchell, the winning trainer of Tri-Cove, who's broken through for its second success only in 17 starts. Pete Donegan.
Yes, and an impressive performance it was too, Billy. I like the way he finished off his race.
Yeah, no, he hit the line really strong. He rode at a treat, and his first time over the distance, he looks like he's going to get a bit further as well.
And only 1/10 outside the record.
Well, there looked to be plenty of speed on, and he got a lovely run through on the inside, and the brakes went his way, so probably the early pace helped him run the quick time.
He finished in the middle of the field the other day, but he was just on the impossible part of the track.
Well, he gets back too, and he was always a bit deep, and in the worst going, I thought his run was actually quite good.
Good on you, Bill. Well done.
Thanks, Dad.
Bill Mitchell, the winning trainer. Let's go out to John Less with Shane Dye.
Shane, they're giving it to you a bit, but you can't please them all, mate, can you?
Well, I won the race, can't do any more than that.
Shane, you had a terrific run. You drew the 18 gate and you went round 1 horse in an 1,800-metre race.
Yeah, well, it's quite an unbelievable run I had in the race. I decided to drop him out, and all of a sudden I was 4 back on the fence, and I just bided my time. He was too strong.
It was a great ride, Shane, and congratulations and good luck for the rest of the carnival, mate.
Thank you.
Oh, you're a game man, John Letts, coming up that race with Shane Dye.
No, the bullets were going past me, mate. I'm pretty skinny.
John Letts coming back to scale with Shane Dye, and an impressive effort by that horse, running away at the end of the race, trained by Bill Mitchell, ridden by Shane Dye, number 4, Tri-Cove the winner, second placing the Blue Blood Gavin Eads, third home Our Savant Samuel Highland, the time 1:48.2, 1/10 of a second outside the record. We'll be back to Flemington on Oaks Day.